A show that promises to catch the interest of the youth, 9 TV's Good Company will feature personalities who have made an impact in their respective fields. First on this list is Pauline Juan. She's the editor-in-chief of Preview magazine, and she's with us this morning to tell us more about her experiences. Good morning, Pauline, and welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you. I've only just been reading the magazine and seeing your pictures, and it's nice to see you in the morning here at Daybreak.
Well, it's nice to be here. It's different. It's a different medium.
It's a different medium altogether. But this is not you're not a stranger to TV. I mean,
no.
You actually
this was my former life.
Exactly. You were with Probe. You were with you did broadcasting.
Yes, I started my career in broadcasting. I was a producer for Probe.
Yes.
Productions, doing documentaries, and at that time we were packaging newscasts for CNBC. So I did that for 3 years before shifting to
And you even
magazines.
have a master's in media and communications,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So and then all of a sudden you're here now in the fashion industry, and
well, it's actually been 14 years.
They called you like the high priestess of fashion. Is that true? Somebody called you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm flattered. Thank you.
Well, you know, it's I guess you grow this documentary. You are their pilot episode. They did a feature on you, Good Company. And what was it like? What was it? What did they try to probe out of you?
Well, it was actually nerve-wracking because I'm used to the one controlling and doing the interview and editing, and so it's a different feeling actually being in the hot seat and them asking the questions, and you don't know how they're going to end up presenting you. So I think I took a dose of my own medicine.
But they did go, like, apart from like going through your history, they also like interview your peers, those who work closely with you.
Yes. They interviewed Mark Nicdao and BJ Pascual and Liz Uy, who's an editor-at-large at Preview. But the two photographers and we were working on a shoot. So they came behind the scenes and then did an interview then. And of course, people from the team, like our creative director, Vince Uy, and our fashion director, Daryl Chang, who I've been working closely with for, a long while now. And then, Cheche Lazaro, who was my former boss at Probe, Liza Gokongwei, who's president of Summit Media, our publishing company. They interviewed my husband, my kids.
Wow.
So
it's really everything about you.
I haven't actually seen the show or the episode on me, so I'm actually quite anxious.
You're anxious how it's going to be. Well, it seems like it's I read that you also have like Jason Magbanwa, and then they're also going to be interviewing other people in the creative industry.
It's quite it's a different show, I think, in terms of the lineup of profiles they're doing, because they're focusing on people in the creative industry, and it's, I think, for kids especially, it's a very fascinating and a very interesting field, the field of the creative industry.
Actually, even I'm not a kid, but I'm young at heart. Okay, but you know, something like, for example, the fashion industry is not something that I'm very familiar with. So it's nice to see how it's really being done. I mean, just looking at the magazine, you don't really particularly know what goes in it. In the life of those who actually produce a magazine.
This is actually, like, for example, this is our hot off the press. This is our October issue. But you know, when I started with the magazine, like 14 years ago, it wasn't actually a career that kids grew up and would say, a career path. That kids would grow up and say, when I grow up, I want to be a magazine editor. Right, there was no such thing. At that time, the industry was very new. So it was thought of as like a stopover before you got married and then had your kids and then, you know, did your thing.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the way, I think it was one of the student forums that I was doing. I realized that people were saying, hey, when I grew up, I wanted to be you. And then I just realized that everything had shifted and that things were different.
And you were one of the reasons of why it's shifted. I mean, that's also I can see that's also what Good Company is trying to showcase, that there are other careers that you can go into, the choices that you have, right?
Aside from other careers, I think it also will shows you a glimpse of the lifestyle involved in the creative industries, because when you embark on a career there, you often take on the lifestyle.
Yes.
And a lot of it has to do with, let's say, what you're passionate about and how you're able to make a living out of that. So if, like, for example, myself and fashion, the publishing industry, because there could have been other avenues for fashion, right? So it's it's how you express yourself and and how you're able to parlay what you're good at. And in my case, it was creating content more than designing clothes, let's say, or being a photographer or being a stylist. So I think that's what you will see come to fore with the other issues of Good Company, for example. They delve on, let's say, the videographer, the wedding videographer, Jason Magbano or Leroy New, who's an artist, or Joey Samson, who's a dear friend and is a fashion designer, and John Bitagcol, who is a model / photographer. So you really get a glimpse of what it takes to be good at what you do, and how the pitfalls and the success, the triumphs, and
how to overcome whatever obstacles that may...
And what it's like to live that life every day.
Yes, because if you talk about the creative industry, if you're not part of it and you just look at the magazines or watch TV, you think that it's all about party, and it's all about like all these like glamour events and dressing up. But coming up with something like this, at least we get to see that it's more than that.
Because, it's not a 9 to 5 job.
Yes.
When you're in the creative, and actually, it's quite difficult to explain when somebody asks you what you do or how do you do what you do, because at any time you could be working, even if you're not. I'm just at home and I'm staring at the TV, for example.
Yes.
And then suddenly an idea comes in, and you're just you're gone because suddenly something's working already. I'd be in the middle of dinner or pushing the cart in the grocery, but people think that I'm like checking out, but no, I'm already thinking of something. And I think for a lot of creatives, it's that way that it's a constant constantly you're thinking, you're developing something, even so it's
an idea can come anywhere,
at strike at any time,
and you have to find a way to actually have it like to build it up or something like that.
But thinking about it is one thing. It's being able to flesh it out. That's
which is more difficult.
Which is more
difficult. The ideas or implementing it.
Yes, implementing is key. I think key to also being in the creative industry is being able to be a good producer and be a good team leader. So you should be. It's about relationships because. Unlike being an artist and then just doing everything by yourself, there's a lot of interaction.
The business aspect.
Well, there is the business aspect, of course. And then there is trying to negotiate the business aspect with the creative part, right?
So those are just a few of what we will be expecting from Good Company. And Good Company's pilot will feature, of course, Pauline Juan. Pauline, why don't you invite our viewers to watch Good Company as soon as it comes out?
Yes. Good Company comes out is airing this Sunday.
This Sunday.
This Sunday, October 5. And it's at 6 or 7. It starts at 7 on Sunday. So
Sunday
I hope
and
everybody
Saturday.
catches it, along with, of course, the October issue of Preview Magazine with Heart Evangelista on the cover.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Pauline. And it's fun
It was a
to
pleasure.
see you first before we watch the pilot
Yeah,
episode.
it was
on Sunday.
great talking to you. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you so much. Again, that was Pauline Juan, Editor-in-Chief of Preview Magazine, and the one who will be featured in the pilot episode of 9TV's Good Company this coming Sunday.